This morning we begin with new details on the man behind the deadly attack on crowds in New Orleans, which left 14 revellers dead and dozens more injured.
And we're live now to 9 US correspondent Lauren Tomasi. She's in New Orleans. Lauren, the FBI, they've provided an update.
And Nick and Lara, they are significant new details coming out of this update from the FBI this morning. The biggest of which is those authorities now believe Samshud Dinjabar acted alone as the lone wolf terror attack. Yesterday, there was a lot of speculation he may have had accomplices. No longer the case. Authorities believing he acted alone and was influenced by ISIS is coming as we also are now learning he placed 2 improvised explosive devices which didn't detonate inside coolers, so esky type things around this area of Bourbon Street. Where I am right now is Canal Street. Bourbon Street is just behind me there. You can see quite a group of people there. The Chief of Police is also up there preparing to open up this street in a matter of moments. This is little more than 24 hours after this attack, which killed 15 people. We now know that number 15 includes that attacker, so 14 innocent lives lost in this rampage down Bourbon Street. This is very much such an iconic street of America, such a well-known street. And as the city prepares to reopen it, certainly security is front and centre. But when it comes to that attacker, there have now been a number of devices seized which have been linked to him, 3 mobile phones, 2 laptops, and authorities giving this update.
Let me be very clear about this point. This was an act of terrorism. It was premeditated and an evil act. In the first video, Jabbar explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the, quote, war between the believers and the disbelievers, end quote. Additionally, he stated he had joined ISIS before this summer.
One of the big points of scrutiny here is security. How did Jabbar manage to drive this truck down Bourbon Street where there should have been bollards? As that is being looked at today, security, a huge focus at the Sugar Bowl college football match. That was meant to go ahead last night. It was pushed to today in respect and to make sure that those security arrangements were going to be okay. We now know there'll be a minute's silence held at the beginning of that game in honour of those lives lost here at Bourbon Street. But Lara and Nick, this street soon to reopen, a little more than 24 hours after 14 innocent lives were lost in a terror attack.
Lauren Tomasi leading our news this morning. Thank you. Meantime, any link between the New Orleans attack and a Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside Trump Hotel in Las Vegas has been ruled out for now. It's been revealed the driver who died in the blast caused by explosives inside was a highly decorated member of Green Beret Special Forces. His name is Matthew Livelsberger. It is right now being investigated as a possible act of terrorism.
There's a desperate search underway for a person attacked by a shark in South Australia. Police say the surfer was at Granite's Beach at Westall on the Eyre Peninsula when the incident unfolded just after 7 p.m. The search will resume this morning. A body has been found during the search for a missing 5-year-old in Sydney's southwest. The non-verbal boy living with autism was pulled from the water after he disappeared from a property in Chipping Norton yesterday afternoon. A stolen car has exploded after being set alight in St Kilda. Vision posted online showing someone standing by the car before it erupts into a fireball along Alexandra Street. A car next to it then speeding off, with firefighters getting the blaze under control about 9 p.m, with investigations to continue this morning. Now to a Today weather alert. Victoria is set to sweat over the next 3 days with a heatwave warning in place for almost the entire state. Live to Today's Isabella Stashkovsky in Melbourne. Isa, fire authorities are on high alert.
They certainly are, Maggie. Good morning to you. This morning it's actually quite cold here in Melbourne, but today temperatures are going to heat up to around 30 degrees, which is really quite a nice summer's day. Will be quite welcome for many in regional parts of Victoria. It'll be in the mid-30s, but the weather has been incredibly temperamental, plenty of highs and lows, and this weekend that is when temperatures really will ramp up. On both days of the weekend, nudging 40 degrees. Tomorrow it will be around 38 degrees, and by the end of the weekend, 37. Firefighters certainly will be on high alert, watching those high temperatures, but also, of course, any strong winds and any sudden changes. A cool change is going to sweep in by Monday, providing some reprieve, Maggie. But if you are in Victoria, certainly today is the pick of the bunch, the day to enjoy, and the weekend, it is just going to be extremely hot.
An absolute stinker, Isa. Thank you. To breaking news, 3 men are on the run after a security guard has been injured after an armed robbery in Western Sydney. Police say they entered a Toongabbie bar with a hammer and assaulted the guard before fleeing with cash in a stolen yellow hatchback around 11 p.m. A 41-year-old man was taken to hospital and is now in a stable condition. A man accused of a violent home burglary in Perth will appear before a magistrate today to apply for bail. He allegedly broke into a house dressed as a ninja while armed, terrorising the couple inside.
He was in all black costume and looked like a ninja, some baklava or mask, because I saw only the little eyes, you know, nothing else, and all in black.
Officers quickly arrested the 35-year-old at the property on New Year's. Queensland has recorded its worst annual road toll in 15 years, with a total of 302 deaths on the state's roads. It's 25 more than those lost in 2023, with officials pleading for safer drivers in this year's.
That means seatbelt wearing, that means not speeding, that means not running red lights and thinking it's okay, you'll get away with it. We just can't have it. That's what's causing Queenslanders to lose their lives on our roads.
Speed was the most common contributing factor for the deadly crashes, accounting for 20%. A 7th person remains on the run after a string of alleged robberies in Blairgowrie, Victoria. A group of teens were cornered at a petrol station, now accused of ramming an unmarked police car while trying to escape just before 1 a.m. on New Year's Day. The Mercedes was reportedly stolen in Mount Martha the night before. 2 teenagers have been already charged. 4 others are set to be warned. Adelaide Airport has become a major hotspot for car break-ins. Parking lots have had a 50% hike in the number of cars stolen in the past year alone, with a sharp increase in those broken into and having items stolen. 39 vehicles were stolen from the airport in the past financial year alone. With just days until the Australian Open in Melbourne, taxi passengers are being warned to be on high alert for price gouging attempts as an industry leader calls for the government to crack down. It's believed some independent drivers are now using payment technology that is not connected to the meter to charge passengers more.
They're using technology, payment technology, that's not connected to the taxi meter. We need to stamp that behaviour out, and we need regulations to make that happen.
The problem has left law-abiding drivers frustrated that a few operators are giving the entire industry a bad name. More than 3,000 construction companies have gone into administration, putting more pressure on the nation's housing crisis and leaving many families facing delays, added costs and uncertainty. The numbers surged from more than 2,000 companies going bust in 2023 to just over 3,000 last year.